Hello and welcome to Strada Real Estate.
Hello, I'm Holly and this is Meg. Welcome to HM Homes Interiors' first ever commercial fit-out project.
This office is located in Bay Square and it's around 2,200 square feet. When we received this office to design, it was very basic, cold, and everything was kind of white and clinical.
Sterile. Yeah, it was so sterile.
So when we come to design this, we wanted to make an environment that people actually enjoy coming to work and felt really comfortable and relaxed in.
Yeah, so when we were designing this office for Strada, it was their first real estate space and we had a pretty tight budget. The reason for that was because they knew they didn't want to stay here very long. So I think it was around, they were going to be here for 6 months and then they knew by that time they'd be expanding and going to a new office, which is actually exactly what's happened. The new office is shell and core, whereas this one, when we received it, we'll show you some before shots of what it looked like before. This office already had the walls, the AC, the fire safety, all the walls where they are now, except one, was how it was. So we had to basically give the place a facelift on a budget.
Which I actually feel like is a little bit harder than when you have shell and core. Because
I think it's easier.
Oh. See, because when it's shell and core, I think you can put all of your ideas exactly how you want it. Whereas this, we had to work with what we had. It was a tight budget. We couldn't do too much construction work. So
when it is shell and core, it's sometimes really hard to envision the space and the walls and where things are going to go. Whereas when you step into a space that has walls existing, it's like, this is the space, what can you do with it? And I feel like we thrived off that. It was like, okay, we need to make this look like a completely different space. And I feel like we did. It's so much warmer. It's so much, the space has been used a lot better. It's more inviting.
And the team actually really love coming to work here, which was the main objective. So I think we definitely met the brief.
Yeah, I think we met the brief too. So Strada don't actually advertise and they don't recruit. They recruit based off of their amazing Strada Studios content team, of their amazing owners and CEOs ethos. And also by having a great office working space. This, we did the best that we could with it and we actually really love it. I love this space. I'll really be sad to see it go when we move to the new space, even though the new space is going to be epic. But it's just an amazing first office for anyone. For this to be your first office, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I wish that we did film this 6 months ago. So it was all fresh and no one had been in here, but
it was like open as soon as it was done, they were like, we're in. And we didn't get a minute to film it. So now we're like 6, 7, what was it, June? June 21. And now we're February 23. And we're only just getting in now to film the space for you. So we're gonna take you around the office and we'll use the before video that we were given when we first got the office. And we'll show you the difference from then to now. We're gonna show you some of our cost-saving
strategies.
Cost-saving strategies.
Which withstand time though. Even with like being 6-7 months past that, the cost-saving strategies work and they stay.
Yeah, so we're going to show you all of those things as we go through the office, so that if you've got a space that you need to work with on a budget, it's completely doable. You just have to pick the right interior design firm. Okay guys, let's take you around the space. Cut it. So the old reception space, this is actually the existing reception desk, but the boys didn't want to keep the old desk. They didn't think it went with the brand. They thought it was too big and it was an eyesore. But obviously, cost saving strategy number 1, use what you already have and upgrade it and make it better. So we mimicked the paneling. We added this paneling and we mimicked it on the front of the reception space. Added this piece on the top to finish it off. Continued it around here. We resprayed this. I think this was grey before.
Yeah, it was
grey or
really
silver.
Silvery.
And it had like a sterile silver trim, which is just, we hate using stainless steel.
It should be left for like dentists, doctors, hospitals.
Yeah, like dirty kitchens, not in an office space. And then a funny story about the logo. Come on.
So basically, as it was our first commercial fit out, there was a lot of teething problems.
Yeah.
And this was the first sign that the guys that we decided to use installed into the space.
When we sent the measurements in inches.
Yeah.
And they took the measurements in centimeters. So when we come in the next day to see it fitted, this is what it was supposed to be like, basically 3 to 4 times the size of this, like this. But this is what we turned up to. And this was installed literally the day before opening.
Yeah, so we had to keep it.
Yeah, it had to stay for a week until we could get this installed, which is much better.
Yeah.
I think everyone will agree that it's a lot better.
You'll hear throughout this video that there was a lot of learning curves for us, especially with the budget, with it being our first commercial fit out, and we done amazing considering it was our first
One thing with a tight budget is that it brings more problems.
Yeah.
You don't have as much money to fix the problems. You've kind of got to make do and mend or get your hands dirty, and we did. Yeah. We got our hands filthy in this project. We were cutting paneling pieces. We were polishing stuff. We were spray painting. Yeah. We did literally, we grafted on this project. And that's the difference between employing a small interior firm to do a job on a budget as opposed to a bigger firm. They're just not willing to get their hands dirty.
And they're also not willing to work on a budget if you go
Yeah. We're pretty flexible. I feel like we can do
what you want us to do within your budget.
Yeah, obviously there's limits to everything. If you wanted this wall to be one big flat screen TV and your budget's 20,000 dirham, it's not going to happen. You're going to get one from Carrefour.
But you'll see on the before videos that you will not recognise the desk that was here. And we do feel like it really flows well with the office. Like Holly said, we installed this paneling. We thought that this paneling would really give a nice
cozy vibe
element on a budget again.
Cozy design and a centerpiece to this, because it is so big in here in reception. We needed to give it a focal point, and I feel like it was cheap, cheerful, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And one thing as well is nothing ever goes to plan. So
ceiling.
when we were doing the ceiling, we were like, yep, it needs to go on the ceiling. That's the plan, that's the design. But when we actually started installing it, we realized that the ceiling above, whoever had had the office before, this floating ceiling hadn't been installed correctly, and there was no supporting beams in it to the original ceiling above it. So we had to, it was a case of the paneling was too heavy and it was going to bring the ceiling down. And they were like, we can't do it. It's not within the budget. So we went out, we found a guy who knew how to reinforce the existing ceiling so that we could get it done. And I'm really glad we did, because it wouldn't have been
the same space without it.
Yeah, it wouldn't. As well, in this space, you need to be smart with furniture. So it's so big, it needed a big sofa. So this sofa, HM Homes, we actually custom designed this sofa, and it's one of our statement pieces. As you can see from the space, so this niche here, it used to have like numbers and letters on the wall. It was very like maths classroom vibes. It wasn't
accountant vibes.
It wasn't cute, like countdown vibes. It wasn't cute. So we ripped all of that off, but the niche had to stay. So we made the sofa perfectly to fit in this space and to fill out the space. And then,
we done it in the green because it was kind of like a bold statement that you never really see this type of green.
A green
sofa.
And we wanted some colour. We didn't want it to all just be wood on wood on wood. Even though Strada's brand is black and white, sometimes you can't just have a black and white office. It's not good for your eyesight. It's not good for a working environment to be in that zone. You need warmth and you need pops of colour to warm up the space. And with Strada Studios, they are colourful and bright and funky, and that's their brand. So we added in the statement art pieces, which you'll see throughout the office.
Which again was another cost-saving strategy.
Because cost-saving strategy number 2.
Because instead of like sourcing really expensive artwork, we really sourced prints, so that we got really life-size prints blown up into frames, so that it was like a
make
bold
them as
statement.
big as possible without compromising the image of the print.
But making sure that they were still on brands, they were different. We didn't want it to be like a boring real estate office. We wanted to bring in colour. We wanted to bring in like actual personality that represented the brand, and you'll see that throughout all of the artwork throughout the office.
Yeah, another piece that we added, just again to add design, warmth, we added in the track lighting here. so we could have the lights fixed on points in the reception area that we thought were unique. So we pointed them over this way to highlight the Strada sign for the branding. Also on the statement wall, and then again on the pieces of artwork, we've added it for those areas too.
And we just want to highlight that in a space like this, you want to stay away from any really cold, like really bright white lights. You want to make sure that all the lights have like a warmth to them, just so it gives like that more warmth, cozy effect again. Throughout all of the office, you'll see that we kind of opted for more of those tones, even within like the wood that we've chosen. Everything has more of like a warmth aspect to it. Too cold.
Yeah.
However, it's not orange. It's not that really deep warm. It just has enough to give like a nice
wood that's too orange to it can only be used in certain places, like a gentleman's study. That's really the only place I personally would use it, because I just don't like it. It's overpowering. So this is more of a design tip than a cost-saving tip would be to paint all of the walls in one shade. And the shades we like to use have a mixture of cream and grey undertones. The cream and grey undertone, as opposed to a magnolia or a brilliant white, it just makes the office feel finished to a higher standard. If you can afford it, definitely paint it all in one colour, because if you get marks on the wall down the line, which will happen, stains, scratches, you've got the paint code of the wall. It's easy for you to paint over the marks and get it back to brand new.
And this is our secret HM hose.
This is our secret colour that we use on every wall in every house. If we're going to paint it all white, we don't tell anyone what this shade is, because it's
our own Pantone.
Yeah, it's our own Pantone that we make ourselves. It's beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to take you into the boardroom.
Before we do that, I think let's talk about the
Crystal doors.
Yeah. So another cost-saving strategy number.
Yeah, if you see on the before, we'll show you the before of this space. So this space was actually 2 rooms originally, and 2 rooms might have worked for the company before, but for this company, they didn't need 2 meeting rooms. There's, I think, 24 staff at the moment on the main floor.
Yeah. And
they didn't need 2 meeting rooms. It wasn't needed. They did need, however, a boardroom. So we smashed out the middle wall and made it one big space. And I think it makes it a lot more grand. And on here, remember the stickers?
Yeah, I used to
the
have like
glass
really
was covered
stickers.
In like that ice, is it frosted?
I remember we actually come in and like was ripping it off, and the relief.
The minute we got the keys, we were ripping it down. Like, take that off. It was such an eyesore and so old fashioned in any office space. But with the doors, this is not what they looked like before.
Yeah. And we wanted to have like a grand entrance into the boardroom, just because before it was so basic. It was just not a nice and inviting space, and that's why we opted for these crystal doors, just to make sure that it was like a nice other statement that is like, as soon as you come into this office, it's pretty much the first thing you see before the reception desk, before the artwork. So we wanted to make sure that this really did have a nice design element to it, which was
and it never goes out of fashion. Glass and black never goes out of fashion. So we added in those pieces, and it just opens up the whole space and brightens it up. If you see the before, it was really dark, closed in.
Yeah. And we kept the exact same doors, which you would never believe. Yeah. And we actually created this.
These are actually aluminium that we cut to size, each piece, and then we powder coated it ourselves, and we applied it to the existing glass. So we didn't have to
rip it down, get new glass.
Because crystal doors are
one of the most expensive investments.
Yeah, they're quite expensive to install, but they wanted that vibe. That was the look they wanted, and this was how we had to achieve it. Another thing that we changed throughout as well, which is another cost-saving strategy.
Number 4 or 5, I think we're up to.
God knows what number we're on now. We'll put it in the video. But repainting any aluminium if it doesn't fit your brand or colouring. So the aluminium that was in this office was grey. Everything was grey. And it doesn't go. If we hadn't have redone it all to black, the office would look like a completely different space. It's a small detail, but it really does mean a lot in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, let's take you into the boardroom and we'll go through there.
So within the boardroom, we wanted to make sure that we had really small design elements that make a difference. As you can see throughout the office, we've used different types of paneling. Within here, we use a thinner striped paneling mainly because the space is a little bit smaller. So it really maximised the space and just give a different design element to it. But we also use different tones of wood, making sure that there was different layers throughout. We actually created this custom cabinetry, so they had some space in here. But funny story with this custom cabinetry, we sourced the exact same colour wood in the boardroom meeting table, which we didn't think we were going to be able to do, and when we did, we thought it worked really well together.
Yeah.
And throughout as well, you'll notice that we have warm and cool elements of the wood, but we wanted to make sure that the cool always came through a little bit more because, as we said before, warm wood should be
overpowering,
kept,
too much.
certain places.
So there's actually a funny story about this TV. So the owners of this office, one of the owners is actually my husband, and we had another project on at the same time of completing this office. So in the other project, we were doing a custom space, and some of our contractors, don't hold us down to this, but this has never happened since. We're just being brutally honest now about the designer's life. Things happen and we have to put them right. It's not, and if it's our fault, we put it right. So what happened is we were doing a project and the TV that was supposed to be getting put up on the wall, one of the contractors dropped it and smashed it. And that TV, the wall that we made for that TV was made specifically for that brand, for that TV.
Make a model
the
size.
depth that most people don't know, but TVs have different depths. Some are really skinny, some are really thick. This particular TV was very thin. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So basically, the TV got smashed, and we're like, okay, it's fine.
Buy a new one.
We'll buy another one. It's not a problem. So we went to buy another TV, out of stock.
Yeah. But like
everywhere.
Throughout the whole of the UAE.
The whole of the UAE. We couldn't send a driver to Sharjah, to Abu Dhabi. It was not in stock, and it was not going to be in stock until our project was going to hand over before the time we could get another TV. So we were basically crying. We thought we were going to have to rip down the TV wall and start it again. This is just things that you have to deal with when you're a designer, and you have to take that problem on. The client does never need to know about this problem. This is all the things that we deal with. They'll know now, but this is just the things that we deal with as designers. So what happened was we walked into the office one day and there was a TV getting put up on the wall. So we designed the office and the guys picked the TVs. There's a TV getting put up on the wall the same day ours had smashed and we were having a meltdown. The TV that one of the owners had ordered happened to be the exact same TV that we needed. Same brand, same inches, everything. And we begged the guys. Bear in mind, the other TV was like a Samsung brand, so obviously highest spec, and we begged them to give us this TV. Luckily, they were nice enough and don't really use this TV as it's the boardroom. It's not the main TV on the main floor. So luckily they swapped out the TV for us and we bought them this TV to replace it.
Smashing our beautiful
and
TV
saved us basically 2 weeks of hell.
Yeah.
So that's the funny story about the TV. And this is the boardroom. This boardroom actually gets used quite a lot, quite more than we thought it would. They love to come in this space and do call outs, and they'll have professional meetings, they'll have team meetings, they'll have content creation conversations in here, and it's a really nice space to work from, especially that we kept this open as well. Like you can just see out and watch people pass by while you're in here on a call out.
And again, all of these windows had that weird grey metal finish to them, and again we just powder coated them all black, which really did change the space completely.
I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the best things that we decided to do throughout the whole of the office. It was messy. Together. Yeah, it was hella messy.
And the smell, you couldn't be in here for longer than 10 minutes. You come in and you were like walking out drunk, but it makes such a difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, right, now we're gonna take you through to the main floor. Should we go and take a look?
Yeah,
let's go. So again, throughout, all of the powder coat is aluminium, the crystal doors throughout. just to keep the theme the same all the way through. And also, another thing that we did, cost saving number 10,000. We will write on the video which one we're up to, but right now we can't remember. We changed the floor throughout so that it was the same, because if you see on the before, here they had like, not to diss anyone's work, but they had like a quote here.
Yeah, it was very unmotivating. I think
it wasn't motivating at all, because you were like walking over the quote. And it was like tramping on. It wasn't
a great design element.
So we changed the floor throughout. So every bit of the office now is the same flooring. And this cost saving strategy number 25,000. This floor is actually an LVT, which is cheaper than using real wood flooring. But it's actually lasted really well.
Yeah, it's lasted really, really well.
Especially this colour, you can't really see the scratches and the marks.
And it just cleans really well as well. So if there's any marks, you can just polish it off.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we had to make sure happens, because we're so OCD, even with like aligning all of the lines on the grill doors, the floor are completely matching. So the herringbone runs throughout seamlessly from the front of the office.
Yeah, it doesn't change angles.
It doesn't change, it doesn't move. They completely meet, and it's got like the perfect.
Yeah,
like,
if you're having a pattern floor put down anywhere in your home, make sure that they all go in the same direction.
Yeah, like even like meeting into the boardroom, if you can see, it joins perfectly.
Like this.
Yeah.
So this is the kitchen space.
We didn't do too much in here, but if you would have seen this before, you wouldn't recognise it.
We're on cost saving strategy. We really need to remember what number we're on. But what another cost saving strategy is this kitchen. It was bad.
It was metal.
It was bad. It was stainless steel, grey. It was not nice at all. It was so dated. And so one of the cost saving strategies is to keep the existing carcass of any kitchen or cabinetry that you've got and upgrade and give the front a facelift.
Just a little facelift, it really does change and complete the space. So we just wrapped everything and made sure that it didn't have any of the stainless steel showing.
And all of the black, all of these as well.
The hardware, it's just black handles, just made such a difference.
We sprayed them as well. We didn't buy new handles, we sprayed the handles. We sprayed all of the, what are they called now?
No idea what you're putting at.
all of these fixtures, we sprayed them all. So everything matches. It matches the brand. It's black, it's white, it's the nice cool wood undertones. And yeah, it was just a nice small space, but it needed an upgrade.
Yeah, it just needed something little to make the space more like...
Because these are glass and you can see it when walking through as well.
Yeah, you didn't want to keep that.
Originally, this wasn't in the spec or the budget. The kitchen was supposed to stay as it was.
Yeah.
But because we changed all of the doors to this,
it just stood out like a sore thumb.
It had to be done. And I love it now.
Yeah.
I think it looks so nice. I'm glad we did the black doors because it just accentuates all the other black accents in the office. Should we go to the manager's office next?
So the manager's office is probably, I'd say, my favourite room within the space, mainly because the guys actually gave us a picture that they really wanted to recreate in here. And with the budget, we was like, there's no way we're going to even get close to this image.
It was fancy.
It was very fancy.
For the budget.
With really clever design elements like the pendant lighting above both of the desks. We really got close to the image that they sent us.
It's nearly identical.
Yeah, it is.
And one thing with this space is the original layout of this space was supposed to be one desk here. And another funny thing about this office is before, if you see the before, there was a huge sticker of a bull on this wall. I don't know what that was all about, but this was a bull and there was one huge desk here. So when the guys originally took the space, they thought that this was only going to be able to fit the one desk. And then when once we did the floor and once we did the custom cabinetry over here and here, we were like, this is actually a really big space.
Yeah.
And because there's 3 directors of the company, we wanted to maximize the space and this was going to be wasted. So we flipped the desks around, we added the 2 seats and then obviously the seating area here. for when people come in to get shouted at. I'm just kidding, no one gets shouted at Strada.
And just bringing the green throughout again, you'll see the moss wall. We absolutely loved adding this element in. We just thought it brought a little bit of life. It was something different, and it just like ties in all the green that you will see throughout of the office.
If you can imagine this space without the pops of art and the greenery, it would be
just basic.
Boring. It would be boring. It wouldn't have the same vibe and the same feel and the same warmth to it.
Yeah.
And it just makes it feel so much more inviting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take you to the main floor.
This is where the magic happens.
This is where the money making begins.
But this is the sales floor. Again, we wanted to make sure that this space was really open and friendly, and there was a nice vibe and environment. And starting off with that was the placement of these desks. So we didn't want them to feel like an ordinary real estate brokerage where they're in, what do you call it?
Battery farm chickens.
Battery farm chickens.
You never want your staff to feel like a battery farm chicken, line after line after line of people. Don't want to feel like you're just a number.
Yeah, so we knew that they wasn't going to have like a vast amount of employees because they were only thinking of staying here for like 6 months, again, which they have done. So we really looked at how we could uniquely use the space and make it a really friendly environment. And also it really does maximize the productivity within the team because it's so relaxed.
Everyone can speak to everyone. Yeah. It's such a, that's a problem now though.
Yeah.
Like everyone's speaking to each other too much. So yeah, but this, like, I love this layout. I think it's so much nicer than just rows of desks.
Yeah, 100%.
And everyone can see each other. It's open, it's inviting.
And just people get to, like, you don't want to come to work and have like a really dead environment, especially in a sales environment. You want to all like motivate each other. And if someone is like really working hard because the space is so like open, you can see each other.
And
working.
we really thought that through when we were planning the space and the layout. Yeah. We really did think it through a lot to create that environment, which most people probably don't. They think, how many people, how many desks can we squeeze in?
Yeah.
But with this space, we wanted to keep it open and airy, which is, I think, exactly what we achieved. So we actually custom made these desks. Cost saving strategy, 10,000. These, we custom made them, which saved us a fortune. And also, standard desks are not usually this wide. These are wider than a normal standard desk. And I just think because they are one of the biggest points in the office, they fill up so much space, they needed to be something different as opposed to the standard rectangular desk, one agent per desk, and those soundboard pieces in front. They needed to be something a little bit different that just caught your eye when you walked in, and that's why we added these.
Yeah, funny story about these planters. We added them so that it separated the space a little bit so it wasn't too, like, everybody can see what's going on. But we didn't realize
privacy when speaking on a call.
Yeah, when we purchased the planters, we didn't actually realize how many we would need. And we ordered what we thought was enough. We come in and it was like balls.
Yeah, we started placing them.
Enough. Yeah.
We started placing them in the planters. And we were like, they actually cost a fortune.
So much money.
We went, we bought them, we were like, God, they've cost us a fortune.
Yeah.
And then we come to the space and had to put them in. It's like, okay, maybe let's spread them out a little bit more.
It just wasn't happening.
But it looked stupid. We were like, that looks silly.
So we had to go back and get more.
So we had to go back and basically treble the amount that we bought to get this look.
And then to save costs again, so another cost saving strategy, whenever you're using plants like this, to fill this with like soil or pebbles or stones or whatever you want to fill it with, it costs so much. Like that small material actually in a vast large amount costs a lot. So what we actually do is stuff like newspaper and tissue underneath first, so it bulks out that area, and then you can just layer out on top like your wood chippings, your stones. It really does save a lot.
Because no one wants to see into empty newspaper. Yeah. So stuff it with that and then cover it with the wood chippings.
It just bulks it out.
Yeah. So another cost saving strategy. Over here with this TV wall, when we first were given the space and asked what can we do with it, initially we wanted to rip this out. We were like, whoa, that is a lot of storage. Who needs that much storage? And the TV didn't fit the space properly. And when we started trying to take it away, there was so many problems behind. We were like, we cannot take this out, because we would have had to re-brick up that whole wall and fill it in. It was just a nightmare.
Yeah, and there's so many electricals behind it. It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, it was weird. What we found when we started taking things away, we were like, okay, this is not going to work. So again, we kept the carcass of the frame, and we added all of these new doors, again in the cool undertones.
We actually changed the inside though, didn't we? We made sure that it was...
Yeah, we painted the insides.
So it was all black again.
A little bit messy, we're not going to show you this.
But inside it's all black.
We painted it all black, so it went different colours.
Again, it was that silvery grey that just wasn't a vibe at all. So we just made sure that the inside had a revamp and then the front had a facelift, and it works perfectly.
I love it. I'm so glad we did. We actually thought about putting paneling on front of the doors that were there.
I'm so glad we did.
And having them neat, but if it's not done by really experienced people, and if it's not done with actual pieces of wood, it wouldn't have looked good. And I'm so glad we chose to just do a flat door over the paneling.
And too much paneling does make it look cheap. So using small amounts of paneling is a really great cost-saving way of making something look really like a design element, makes it more expensive. But then if you overpower it with paneling, it takes that completely back and just makes it look like you've not thought about the design at all. So having this more of like a custom cabinetry with the soft wood was a lot better. Yeah, and this piece over here at the end, this again was cabinetry, and we decided to knock it out because we wanted to break up the wall a little bit. We didn't want it to just be door after door after door. So we thought we'll use this space and just we created these, everything was custom made. Yeah, and Holly's very proud of this area because her husband actually accessorised the area, which we're proud of. Yeah, I actually had to leave and he was left to accessorise the space, and I think he did a really good job. Yeah, he did. But yeah, we custom made these, and if you want to add, make something look more expensive, always make it thicker. So the shelves, instead of them being the standard 2 centimetre thick shelves, we made them 5 centimetres, and it just makes it look a lot more expensive. Holly always says go bigger or don't do it at all. So that's with a lot of design. Make the desks bigger, the sofa bigger, the shelves bigger. Bigger is better. Bigger is better, 100%. And yeah, the TV that was here before, it was like, this is the original space that was here, but the TV that was here before was like half the size. It was like a dot. You never want to have something too small in a space that's too big, because it just looks like a stamp in the middle of the space. It looks silly. It gets swallowed up. So we had to buy this huge TV, which I'm pretty sure the agents were happy about. So this was us pushing the guys to get the biggest possible TV we could for this space. Yeah, and then in this room, we made sure that, again, we painted everything in our signature colour, even the ceilings, which really gave it a really fresh, clean look. Yeah. And they used to have really cold blue lights, so we changed the lighting, and that was pretty much all we've done with the ceiling, but it looks completely different than what it did before. Yeah, it was the only way to describe it before is clinical and sterile. Yeah. It was. But not, because it was pretty dirty. But that's how it looked and came across. And I feel like we really did achieve a warm and inviting space within this space. Again, powder coated everything, so everything matches throughout. And again, with the art prints, unique pieces, blow them up as big as you possibly can without compromising the image itself, and frame it. And we decided to hang these from like the gallery wire. And I just think I love it. I love the idea. Again, it was just a really great, clever way of adding different types of design and elements. Because we didn't want to do curtains or blinds. Yeah, no. Because it was such a nice corner office. So we thought, what can we do in the windows? So we added the art. Yeah. This is obviously not our design choice. This is obviously not our design choice. This is the boys', as you can see. This concludes the tour of the Strada real estate office. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and if you have enjoyed it, then stay tuned for Strada 2.0. It's actually 3.0 because they had another office before this, which they were in for about 2 weeks because they outgrew that. But it's Strada 3.0 officially. And for that, we're going to take you with us through from the very start, the first meeting we had with our fit-out company, the design meetings, the material meetings, the budget meetings, the contract meetings, meeting with the guys to discuss how they want the new space to be. It's completely different. Yeah, the budget is nothing even compared to this. It was
the budget made us very happy. We
Yeah,
got
very
to
happy.
really express our style and Strada's style in this space.
Yeah.
When it's finished, it's going to be insane. I hope you follow us on this journey.
And we're so excited to just show you the next level.
Yeah, it's
of
our biggest
creation.
job to date, and it's been so exciting.
Yeah.
This was amazing to do. This was scary.
This makes it feel like it wasn't a commercial fit out compared to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
It's like
This was
the
just like a
grand-
weekend job in comparison to the new space. It's like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned and follow us on that journey. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and also follow us on Instagram. We update the Instagram every single day with what projects we're on at the moment.
Our new furniture launches.
We'll share more tips. We love cost saving strategies. If we can save you money, we will.
Yeah, and just reach out if you have any design questions. We're always happy to help as well.
Yeah. No matter what your vibe or style is, we love having something new to get our teeth into. So get in touch with us. And if you know someone who needs a commercial fit out or a residential fit out, share our pages and put us in touch. Thank you for watching.